Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Roll20 Presents The Burning Wheel, episode number 26, in fact. Yeah, episode number 26. I can't help but like watch this and Tomb of Annihilation kind of like chase each other for episodes. Tomb was like catching up. Now we're getting ahead with the Burning Wheel.
That's because we try and get that tomb in there like a couple of times when we didn't have Burning Wheel.
It's much easier to do a 3-hour episode of Tomb, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking back. I think we started this like 9 months ago or something. We started this show
like a while ago.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it because I was going back through my notes because I switched to a new notebook. I finished my old one, so I went back through the old one just to make sure there wasn't anything I needed to like carry forward. And like there's a lot of stuff has happened in this game. It feels like a slow burn in the moment, but if you look at it, like we're pretty far from where we started, which is super cool. Things are pretty different.
I mean, Andrew has been a wolf and then not a wolf.
That's true. Yes, yeah. Agatha was a wolf for a time. That's very true. Yeah. So it's just like reflecting back on that. Also, that doesn't count the 2 episodes that we did character and kind of world creation, right? There's like 8 full hours of that too. So yeah, cool. Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm super excited to play. I've got some plans, some thoughts, some ideas.
Machinations.
Yeah, some machinations.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's exciting. I also have a name for Magisland, finally. I came up with a name for it. I also came up with a name for Dave's. I did my homework. Blue Jay, did you do your homework?
Yeah, but I forgot.
You did it, but you forgot what, to bring it, or?
Yeah.
Her dog ate it.
And then Bella ate it, yeah.
Bella ate my homework.
Like, I remember you working on it, but...
Someone suggested something that was really good, and I can't remember what it was. It was
not you, Dave. Your idea was bad.
Dave suggested something about perch or roost, but someone suggested something after that was really good, and I cannot remember.
I seem to remember most of Dave's suggestions being like Birdtown, Birdsville. Nest.
No, he said
I helped.
To roost.
You did help. It's true. All right, well, that's fine. If you find your homework, then we can use it. But for now, that's like Chirpington, Feathersville. Yeah,
Featherstown. Found. Sound feathered. Good.
Yeah. No, we can do better. Yeah, so the name of Magisland is Soyuzka. That is the name of the place where people from Magisland come from. Soyuzka.
So would you call people that come from there soy boys?
No, I would not. I would certainly not. I believe it loosely. It's Soyuz is an old form way of saying Russia, basically. And the Russian word Soyuzka, I think, means friend when translated into English. So I thought that was good. Something like that. So Soyuzka is the name of the place. Yeah, they'd be Soyuzkins, or I like Soyuzniks. It's a good
Soyuzniks.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the name they would call their own country, but that's the name everybody else calls it, right? Like, you know how countries are like that sometimes, where it's like, this is what the name of it is in our own language, but the people that found us,
like Korea or Japan, or
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think what Dave suggested was perchoir, which is perch or roost in French. But there was something else, and I cannot remember it.
That's all right. We don't have to decide right now. It's fine. It's not like the game is set there. Yes, Soyuznik would be the equivalent of like Ruski. Exactly. Yeah, it would be like a diminutive. Yeah, so that's what it's called. It's called Soyuzka. Dave, your new friend, I guess Truth's friend, the information expert, is his name is Nikolai Vasilev, and he's a local, and he's a mysterious man who has shown up to help you out.
Sweet.
Yes, like Stygia, exactly. Yeah, so that's him. I did my homework. We're ready for that. And I'm trying to remember if there was any other. I don't think there was anything else that we kind of left that we needed to do between sessions. I find myself in that place again where now I have like probably enough NPCs that I need to do another NPC burn.
Another burn.
Yeah, maybe I'll do another burn next week because I have We have Nikolai, who may or may not be important. Ilka, certainly Ilka Strobola, and her cousin, the Minister Strobola. I think they're going to. I know for a fact they're going to be important. So that's 3 right there that I could do. So. Also, I don't think Sarika ever got a full burn, though she's easy. She's
No,
just
she
a
didn't.
she's just a 2 life path character, so she'd be. I could probably jam her in with the other ones. And basically, right now, all we need to know about Sarika is
Her will exponent.
yeah, exactly. You got it. That's the most important stat for any NPC, especially in this game. How hard are they to manipulate? Yeah, it's interesting that we have all these NPCs, but they're never all in the spotlight at once. Like I've got characters, and the other thing that I think is important or interesting is that these are all characters that y'all can circles too. So like just because they're on my long list of NPCs doesn't mean I'm the only one that can bring them in, right? So if you suddenly find yourself in need of the Magus, I guess someone could take a real hard shot at circling him up. I feel like that's a dangerous call, but it's certainly possible.
I'm on it.
Yeah, I don't think you actually share any life paths with the Magus, unfortunately. I think
Noble Court.
Agatha might be the only one that might be able to.
Noble Court for sure.
Oh yeah, that's fair. You both worked in the court. Yeah. I always forget that you didn't like you have a life. It wasn't like your like Noble Court stuff began at character creation. It was or at character play. It was before that. Yeah. So you could go for it. Rock and roll. It's a difficult test. I promise I will invoke the enmity clause. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the reviews. Let's walk through the beliefs, the instincts, and the goals, and we'll see what everybody wants to get up to this session. Starting, as we do, with Joy. So Joy, talk to us about your beliefs, your instincts, and your traits.
Let me regale you with
Please.
the story of my beliefs. My beliefs are: I shall make friends with the minister, thus bringing me closer to the king, treating me well.
Right. This was the friend of my friend thing, where if other people
Yeah.
respect you, the king might.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the estate on Ekaterina's command. I'll find something to report back to her. And why did Soren come to my aid? I will speak to him and find out the truth.
Excellent.
My instincts are: when anybody speaks of God, laugh. Always keep a knife where no one can see it, and confront every boast with an ugly truth. My traits are off-kilter, scapegoat, ashen, eldritch, bootlicker, numb, dreamer, lame, aura of innocence, keen taste, the fool, and cold-hearted.
Fantastic. So at some point since it happened, Joy has had a dream that lays out, like you had a dream about Agatha, based on Agatha. You remember Agatha's like,
Yeah, seeing all the like women together in the dark room.
yes, yeah. You would have recognized Sarika from the dream,
Yeah.
but not Sister Sufferance.
No, I've never met her, so.
Yeah. So you would have picked up on that, and you would have recognized the symbology of the choir of angels, and that sort of thing. So you had that dream. You can choose to pursue it as you like.
Lovely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Agatha, talk about your beliefs, instincts, and traits.
My beliefs are: I will weave a spell for Alessandra to aid her claim on the throne and free myself of this obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Survival is the only morality. The traditions and the people must survive this cursed winter. And a witch needs a coven. Sarika can learn the old ways and perhaps be a friend. And I have a note to myself to go find Sarika because she stole my shit. And then when Sarika and Sufferance are alone with me, teach them something. Never put something back in the wrong place. Always speak truth to power. And my traits are: always in the way, well-traveled, spooky, inscrutable, respectful of women, lupine, vindictive, pragmatic, misunderstood, fey-blooded, blind, gifted, spirit familiar, essence of earth, unsteady, rat speak, forked tongue, and wolverine.
Excellent. You get a bonus point if you can say all your traits in one breath. Nicely done.
Yeah, bonus point. Gold star.
Gold star.
Agatha.
Yep. 5 esports dollars. So you're right, reciting the litany of Agatha. Cool. So in this case, I'm seeing a likelihood of interacting with. I feel like I feel like that first bit is like you could just do that at any time. You would just need to decide what that spell is and what shape it would take. So that may require another conversation with Alessandra, or Agatha might just decide on her own and be like, never mind, I'm just going to do what I think is the right thing. You don't really have an instinct that drives towards that, so I think you can kind of go either way. But I'm sure you'll find inspiration in your traits and the ongoing fiction. Otherwise, yeah, messing with Serica, who's messing with you. Now, we know that Agatha doesn't know that Serica has your stuff.
Yes.
But you do have an ongoing thing with Serica, and in that scene, we can kind of director stance that, where you can play Agatha towards finding that out. And obviously, I'll play Serica.
Well, because I'll be trying to find my stuff.
Exactly.
She'll just happen to be with it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Sounds good. Alessandra, beliefs, instincts, traits?
My beliefs are Joy is dangerous and unreliable. I must find a way to keep her under my thumb, especially now that she's making friends. Fuck that, right?
Yeah, and I can't remember if you saw, was Alessandra present for...
I saw Joy talking to the minister and Robillard in a way that they were both like frustrated with her. Like I saw
fairly
that
standard
conversation.
Yeah.
I did not see the afterward when Joy was taken seriously by the minister.
Right. Yes.
I have the witch Agatha at my disposal. I will talk to the king and find out how best to use her. Obviously, that in reference to like figuring out what direction to go with manipulating the king, not in terms of asking the king straight out.
Yes. Yeah, because the king would flip out if he found out that you and Agatha were connected, because he thinks that Agatha is responsible for some bad things. Yes.
And then Robillard, in his quest for power, must meet the king, but I will set the stage to my advantage.
Mm-hmm. Also, another point of interest there is that the king would almost certainly summarily reject Robillard if he were to find out that Robillard and Agatha had a connection, because he would be like, "Thou shalt not truck with those who trucketh with witches. Get thee away from my nunnery," or what have you. So yeah, he's not about that. And if he found out that Robillard, and this is a thing that you, like Alessandra, you would know. That,
that's why we didn't allow Agatha to come to court.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Instincts are never allow anyone to treat me below my station. We've been like kind of talking about this. I think that this is very much her perception.
Why don't we change this? Why don't we change the way you phrase this one? So never allow anyone to treat me below my station means don't let anybody call me by the wrong title. Don't let peasants talk to me like I'm not a noble. But you could change it to be like, never allow anyone to give me less than I deserve, or like, disrespect me.
That's more what I was thinking in terms of like Alessandra has a perception of herself as more important than her, like just her trait, your lordship, would indicate.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're playing it like my station is just she's a lady, then that's not accurate to how she feels. And
it's the word station that I think needs to be adjusted, because right now it reads like societal entitlement instead of personal entitlement.
No, it's definitely a personal entitlement.
Okay.
That I was like, that she's acting on.
Okay, so what do you let's make this something actionable, right? So like when X then Y. So like if someone disrespects me, then like lots of the men in this setting have an instinct, when a woman disrespects me, smack her, right? They're dicks that way. What would be your instinct there? Like what triggers the thing, and then what is the thing that you do?
I mean, I don't feel like Alessandra just has one solution to every varied problem. Like it's been like, I mean, this is me, but like because of the way that I play Burning Wheel, she tends to like plot and think about things and like work like in like directions.
Right,
so I don't feel
so
like it would always do one thing.
Right, but instincts are about doing something immediate, not like it could be like when someone disrespects me, add them to the list, right? Like,
yeah, well, that's the sort of thing that it would be.
But that kind of thing can't get you in trouble because it's not really acting. It's not you'll never earn anything for that instinct, nor will it help you. You want something that you can ignore in play if you need to, but that doing it will all cringe and be like, "Oh, Alessandra, don't." but you're gonna be like, it's an instinct, I'm gonna do it anyway, and that's how you get fate points for those instincts. So what is the thing that Alessandra would instinctively do, and what, like, regarding this thing, and how would that get you points? What would be the response?
I think it's like looking back at her interaction with Lodovic. I think it might be like if someone doesn't respect my like power or authority, and then obviously like it's still like perception versus
When someone is
actual.
disrespectful to me.
When someone is disrespectful to me, gosh, I mean,
Insult them, snub them, right? Like what does she do? This is the thing she does without thinking.
I think she just like writes them off, right? Like, okay, then I'm not gonna like we're not having like I'm not gonna like use
Right.
you. I'm not gonna work with you. I'm not gonna like you're not
Right, which is
important anymore.
again, like, it's a hard thing to make an instinct because
Yeah.
it's a negative, it's a non-action, right? Never interact with them again is kind of a boring thing to do for a
Yeah.
character, and that's the thing you do with your brain, not with your instincts, right? Like, leave the room, or like refuse or return disrespect or insult them, or like that's the kind of thing people do without that, like that snap, like, how dare you, like I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna do something back to you. Because the idea, you want this to be happening all the time in play, but for us to see Alessandra resisting her instincts, so that when she does it, we're like, ooh, you shouldn't have done that, but that's, that you do it.
Okay, well, I guess I'll think about it because I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, yeah. Like the action, it's like an action in the moment of being like, someone disrespects you, so you say something rude to them, or you like mock them or whatever. Kind of like how Joy has that one that whenever someone says something about God, laugh, and it's like that comes up all the time because it's an easy, obvious thing that Joy can't help but do. It's just instinctive because God's funny, or people's
Yeah.
faith in him is funny.
He's
Okay.
dead. Who cares?
Yeah, he's dead. Who cares?
Well, my other instincts are always redirect violence away from my person, and whenever I meet with a member of the court, recall a piece of gossip about them.
Yep.
My traits are your lordship, ambitious, well-dressed, independent, cosmopolitan, raven-haired, jealous, mark of privilege, rapier wit, and charming.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sounds good. So yeah, just take that first instinct off, and then when you have it, you can let me know, and we'll put it on the sheet.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And Lodwick, let's talk about your beliefs, instincts, and traits.
Sure. Okay. They are all exactly the same as last week, so that's very easy. To prevent bloodshed, I will control the weapons market in Carpathia. I will make a deal with or buy the target my researcher finds.
Okay. So yeah, that person has a name now. So I'll make a deal with or buy Ilka Strobila.
Yeah. Or buy. How do I spell this?
Ilka,
Yep.
and then Strobila.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, lesser noble, like the bottom rung of nobility. Probably not even a lady, just Ilka Strobila.
Cool. I also understand the suffering of the peasants and lowborn, and I work towards bettering their lives through creating safety and restoring order to the kingdom.
Okay. Let's make this one a little more actiony. I think you can take away work towards and just say, I will better their lives. Right? Because you don't have to say I'll work towards bettering it. That's the goal. The goal is to better their lives.
Better their lives through creating safety and restoring order.
Yeah, because you don't believe in working towards it. You believe in doing it. The working towards it will get you there, but that's the thing.
Fair enough.
Just for clarity. Creating safety and restoring order, do you see those as like separate things, or will restoring order create safety?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because if you want to, you could just say, I will better their lives by restoring order to the kingdom. I just want to make sure that we have these as like nice things. I want to give out some persona points is the thing. Okay, cool. And then I will deal with these kidnappers and show who hired them. Let's talk about that one. So do you have an idea of how you want to do that? Or is this session the like, I will find a way to deal with them?
Yes, because from last session, I basically was told, don't do anything right now. We need to work something out. And Lodovec is just like, I don't know, I've never dealt with kidnappers before.
Yeah. That's right. The advice from Truth was like, sit tight. We'll work on this. Everything's in Mama Ekaterina's hands. She'll take care of it.
Yeah. So I don't have anything to complete really because I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's okay. You can make a plan. You can find one out, and then your instincts.
Never ignore an opportunity for profit. Always have cash on hand, and always try to grease the wheels.
Nice, I like that. Okay, and your traits?
Self-satisfied, idealistic, materialistic, stocky, forward, patronizing, affinity for business, and penny wise.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, let's start today with a scene. It'll be at court, but I wanna frame it up with a scene outside court. So, as usual, it's snowing. Huge drifts of snow around the court. Many are the nights in which courtiers are forced to stay in the house of Corvidae, simply because there's just too much snow to travel. Plus, also the lower classes have been getting restless. The famine that is affecting the lower classes has started to climb the social ladder to the point now where people that are not just the homeless or beggars, the lower rung of society has frozen and broken off. All of those people, basically all the helpless, have died. And so now we're getting to a place where the people being affected are people who actually still have the resources and the energy to do something about this. And outside the court, one such gathering has begun. So there are, I don't want to say peasants because they're not farmers. The farmers all live out in the forest territories, but these are the kind of like lower, the lowest, the next rung up in the slowly rising tide of famine. And then some more concerned people who employ or are slightly better off than them. There's essentially a protest. There's a group of people standing around outside the court and shouting and making noise and causing trouble to try to get court's attention, to say, like, the townsfolk, exactly. The townsfolk are starving. There's no food, and we can't make things if we can't eat. And no one can do anything, and the city is grinding to a frozen halt. Action needs to be taken. And so we see this group of, I don't know, probably a couple of hundred people outside the court, all gathered together. There is some motivating force. Something has brought them all here, but we don't know what or who, right? These kinds of people wouldn't just organize on their own. So this is the result of some degree of organization. And so bundled in their cloaks, gathered angrily outside the court, we have this group. And I think we can hear them inside the court. And even though it's supposed to be, a court day like it usually is, no one is paying attention. The king is in his throne, and whoever's turn it is to speak with him is probably trying to speak with him. But the noise outside is so loud that no one's attention is on Alessandra, the king, and the court business at hand. Instead, there's a lot of kind of nervous glancing, a lot of worrying about kind of like what's going on. I think there are probably some nobles here who have family who have in other parts of the world experienced minor peasant uprisings, and these people are like, we got to pack our bags and get out of here. Carpathia is done. And so the mood of the room is very tense. There's a lot of whispering and nervous talking. Obviously, Joy and Alessandra, you are both there, aware of and perceptive of this situation, right? You're aware that there's tension here, yeah. What are you doing? What are the two of you up to in this moment? What's your situation while this is happening? The king is looking like frustrated and uncertain, and his new minister of the forest territories is standing closest to him. And I think maybe Alessandra, you can see the two of them are talking. Like he's turned his head and she's like leaned over talking quietly to him, and he's sort of
Why
nodding.
are all of his close friends women, Adam? Alessandra's not about that life.
Listen,
Um,
Soren is his close
So
friend.
oh,
jelly.
that's true. But Soren's not been around.
Yeah, because Soren's having some time. He's having a time. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, one of his better friends, his trusted judicator, died
yeah?
horribly, and he's had a
Weird.
hard time connecting with other men since. Okay,
Weird.
He
That's
doesn't
a
want
weird
to put himself out there. Also, he has a complicated relationship with. Listen, masculinity is problematic in this country, and it doesn't
Yes.
encourage close, intimate relationships between men.
Well,
So-
Alessandra's jealous, so close relationships between men and women is something that she doesn't like. Anyway, yeah, because you said that like court's in session, and Alessandra's made the point to like be up on the dice or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, you're in your proper place.
Yeah. So can I like try and overhear what it is that the new minister and king are talking about? Because I'm close. I'm right there.
Sure. Yeah. They're not really trying to make an effort to hide it, but I think it's important whether you hear or not.
Yeah.
So let's have you roll perception.
Not observation.
Observation is if they were trying to hide what they were saying. This is
Okay.
just like trying to pick up on what they're saying. Let's just call it ob 2.
Okay. Ob2 perception roll.
Yep.
I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Okay. Yeah, so the king's not saying anything. The king is taking advisement, right? He's doing the like but Minister Strobela is saying something to the effect of it's only going to get worse, my liege. These sorts of demonstrations, gatherings of the peasants, the people need food. You know where we can find it. You need only give me the men that I need to execute. And he shakes his head like I'm still not sure. And she says it is your responsibility to keep the kingdom safe, Your Majesty, and you will do so in whatever way is appropriate, but I believe that we must do something, and soon. Otherwise, this is going to get worse. And the king looks up and looks around like, yeah, I better do something. Do you interject, or do you let him? He's about to like make a statement or proclaim something, or like he's going to set something in motion.
So question. We talked about like with Soren before all this like shit with him murdering a guy went down. We talked with Soren about how like trying to distract the king by like, hey, maybe you should go after those barbarians in the forest instead of going into the castle, which has magic, and maybe that would make him feel like more of a.
That was Soren's suggestion. Yeah.
And it sounds like because she's the minister of the forest territories, like that's her shit, and I would know what that position was. So could I like intuit that she's probably talking about like going into the forest doing something?
You can infer whatever you like.
Okay, well, I think that would be like with the information available to the character, like fairly. That's probably what she would think was going on. Like, oh, like, yeah, that's what we talked about before. Like going into the forest, like taking care of those barbarians. Maybe they have food. Maybe that's what she's talking about.
Traditionally, a significant sum of the foodstuffs of the city does come in from the villages that surround it. That's where the farms and stuff are. Yep.
Yeah,
Though they're all like frozen as shit right now.
Like the ones that are all frozen. Yeah.
However, I mean, I'm not going to give you more information than your character would have necessarily. But you can infer or assume whatever you like. Joy, what are you doing while all this stuff is going on? While there's all this tension in the room?
Is it the kind of tension I could break? Is the real question. And I think
if you were conspicuous enough, you could probably like, because this This could be seen as an opportunity for you to do your job, right? Like, it isn't your job just to be a piece of shit. It's also, it could be your job to be like, calm down, everyone. We've stone walls to surround us, and the Green Mantle Company, and everything's gonna be fine. Like, look at these dumb peasants.
That's what I was thinking. Like, do the whole like, well, the king is deliberating, and we will get to this very shortly, sort of thing, while the private conversations are happening and everybody's getting riled up. Best that I say something to at least fill the space with something other than angry noise.
Yeah, right. There's just like shouting outside. They haven't gotten to the point where they're like trying to break into Alessandra's house. But Alessandra, I mean, I feel like we talked before about your lack of security.
Well, yeah, because I don't have a large enough estate to come with a security force.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
So I want to like make myself very well known to these peasants, basically these city folk.
You're going outside?
Oh, I'm not necessarily going outside, but there are windows, assumedly.
Maybe is there Alessandra? Is there like a balcony that overlooks the front of the house, or the manor? I guess.
I'm sure that there's at least windows, because I think that it's a mark of like richness that you have glass windows, right? Because that's expensive. So I feel like there's definitely windows. I don't know about like a place that you could stand outside of this, like,
well, I mean, if
I guess it would be like most of the time, like this would be used as the entertaining room of the estate. So if any place were to have a balcony, it would be this room. So sure, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be this room. This room is like the grand hall, and it would be inside. But yeah, there may be.
Like if this is the grand hall, it's where any kind of like small like gatherings would be held, because it's not big enough for like a ballroom. But that's what like I'm thinking.
It's the closest equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it would have a place where people could like go outside and like breathe.
Oh, but that would probably be into like an interior courtyard. And if you got angry peasants in your interior courtyard,
they're not in the interior courtyard.
You got a bigger problem. No, they're still they're inside the walls of the estate, right? But they're not in your house. They're not in the manor building. They're outside.
Yeah. So
okay, then Joy would have to leave the house to talk to peasants.
If there's somewhere I can address them from, then fine.
Yeah, there'd be like a second story window you could like open and poke your head out.
Sounds good.
Oh God.
Right. I was really surprised. I thought you were going to address the court, but you just slip away to go and talk to the peasants.
Yeah.
That's so good. So they're like shouting like we demand to see our king, and like bring out the king to address us. Like we have people are starving, we're dying, and then the court sends its jester to talk to them.
We don't send anybody. Right, but Joy is on her own.
From their perspective. Okay. So Joy, as you slip away with no trouble. No one is like, hey, where are you going? And you make your way through the house, and I think that you see some of the extra like hangers-on that have left the main room to come and nervously press their faces to the smoky glass of the house, because they're the ones that are like, we should start planning on like slipping out the back, or the people who are like morbidly curious to go and see the mob, or they're the ones that are like, you see, I told you, just a bunch of unwashed peasants. Right? So there are a few people out here who are kind of like clamoring to get a closer look.
So my strategy is to just, these people are not, this is not who I want to talk to, these hangers on and these wanderers in the halls. I head to that second story window.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I open it like wide, and there's that cold like winter air, and I climb into the window frame and sit on it so that my legs are dangling outside. Okay, all right.
So nobody in the crowd is really looking up. You look out, and like I said, you see like 200 or so of these like angry townsfolk. The ones closest to the door have done that thing where they're standing by the door, but they're not facing it. They've turned around to face the crowd, and these are the ones that are like shouting to get the crowd riled up. You see among them some dressed in monks' like robes. I think that there are some members of one of the like the orders of suffering, the like flagellant orders, right? We've seen bits and pieces of these guys who are like, if we must suffer, so too must the rich. Like, let's go and burn them down because everyone needs to feel bad and be dragged out into the cold. But mostly it's just like angry, freezing men and women who don't have enough food.
I'm looking forward to not having the oratory skill and failing whatever it is I do here. But let's continue anyway. So I think the first thing is I want to get their attention. So I'm sitting in this window, and I think the joy thing to do here would be like, assembled people. You know, like
I'm gonna die, aren't I? I'm going to die.
So you want to try to like make a loud enough noise to get their attention.
I'm a conspicuous role.
Oh yeah, you are. Okay.
Make myself noticed here.
All right, so I don't know that it's a massive gathered crowd. I think it's slightly below that. It's just a gathered crowd. So we'll call it a busy street. So Ob 3 conspicuous.
Okay. Let me see here. I have a feeling I'm not even gonna get their attention.
Well, remember, your intent is to get their attention. The task is to make the roll. If you fail, we can twist it, right? Like, it's not just get their attention; it's get them to listen to you for a moment, so you can address them.
Okay, yeah, that's the plan. So conspicuous, I will. I don't even know if I can fork it with anything.
Yeah, like the forks in the book are command and oratory.
I don't have either of those things. All right, I guess we'll just roll 3 dice against 3 and see if I.
Okay, so I think if you fail, I think if you fail, they notice that someone has come to attend to them, but rather than like get their attention so you can speak, all they notice is, like I was saying before, like the king sends his fool to mock you. That's the thing, and they get angry
All
that
right.
like finally someone has come. Wait a second. Is that the jester and a Stygian? How dare he? And then they get angry, and this escalates.
Okay. Well, can I get advantage for being sitting in a window, like on top of?
Yes,
like,
I'll give you an advantage die for being in
right,
a. You have the upper hand. You have the higher ground.
The high ground. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Do I have any persona?
The crowd gets their arms and legs cut off.
I do.
You have a persona and then a pile of fate. Do you want to spend that persona?
There is no point in spending that persona because the next roll will fail, so it doesn't matter.
I like how you're looking forward to your next failure.
Because the next thing is like a failed oratory.
Right, exactly.
That's what's gonna happen. So I'm not gonna spend my persona.
I'm so proud of Elf for just embracing failure, for just being like, you know what? Fuck it. This is Miro level tactics. This is I'm gonna do the hardest thing possible at the very beginning and just make everything worse.
And then I guess we just roll. Oh my god, I got 0? 0! Really?
You rolled 4 3s.
Oh no.
If only you had gray shade conspicuous.
Oh dear. Well, mark that difficult conspicuous test.
They're great.
So we'll cut back to Alessandra.
So do any of these peasants have a guillotine?
They will invent one for you. No, this is pre. They don't have the mechanical engineering skills to make a guillotine. This is like several hundred.
Wait. So these people can make guns.
Burning at the stake. They certainly cannot make guns. No. Some insane genius from another country made a gun.
Adam,
Saltpeter is the Leonardo da Vinci of horrible face melting.
I would just like to state that it doesn't matter what difficulty the things are that I do. I never roll more than 0. So
you do occasionally.
Joy is an unmitigated disaster, but Elf is an amazing Burning Wheel player.
Okay.
These two things are very separate.
Well, let's. Okay, sorry. Go
Emilio
ahead.
pops out of a closet somewhere and is like, "Nice work, asshole," and then disappears. So Alessandra, before things get real serious, so the king is like, I need to do something about this.
You made the point that they weren't trying to like hide the fact that they were having this conversation. They weren't like,
no. I mean, people whispering in the king's ear from the dais is like standard. You do it all the time.
Right. So I think that what Alessandra would like, based on her information, I think that she would think, oh yeah, this is a good idea. And her way of trying to be like, I guess, helpful or what have you, she wants to be like if she doesn't say anything, then she's not associated with the decision, right? And the king, like, she wants to say something so that the king will perceive her as being like a person who is smart and occasionally gives good advice, right? And not just someone he has sex with. So I think that she would probably say, like, sometimes when people are angry, giving them another target for their anger is at least a good tactic for stalling people in the woods if they have resources. And then she like lets it hang, because I think that's like pretty well associated with her like direct violence away from my person. Like, these people are mad, we need to give them someone else to be mad at that's not my house.
The king looks at you and he says the minister has thoughts on this matter, and we've discussed it at length, but right now we need to keep these people away from your front door. They know that we have food in the supplies. He shakes his head. They're not going to go looking any further than that.
Then why don't we just give it to them? We can get more.
Can we? And from where?
I have provided for the court this entire time, unexpectedly gaining quite a number to my estate. And we have all been well fed. I would not allow it to be different. I have resources. We can give some of the food to these people and get them away from the house. Yeah, it was Lodovic. Lodovic's money is what I have.
He says,
Yeah, about that.
yeah, this is no longer simply about giving them bread and turning them away. They've come for more than that. They've come for change. These are Carpathians. You may not understand. Your kinsfolk may be turned away by pleasantries. Alessandra, there's only one language that Carpathians understand. And he is about, you can see it in his face. He's about to call in the jackboot death squad on these people. He's about to be like, get me the green mantles and stomp some heads. Unless you want to like convince him otherwise. He's like, this is what we got to do. We got to teach these peasants a lesson in sword and blood.
I don't want violence on my doorstep. That's not a thing.
That'll be hilarious.
That'll be not hilarious. That'll be bad. I think. Yeah, well, she doesn't know. Like, this is instinctual. Like, direct violence away. Like, I think like her person is turning into like, this is my house.
Yeah, like, I think that counts.
Yeah. So I think she would be like, this is still my house. If there are people at my door, they will talk to me.
The time for talk is done, Alessandra. You can make a persuade check to change his mind. You can make a persuade test.
Yeah. Okay. So he's 6, right?
I believe that he is. Yes, King Tomas.
And this is, I'm talking about my estate management, estate wise.
Well, no, that would be solving the problem. This is convincing him that he should let you deal with the peasants before he calls in the
Okay, so
company.
the things that I'm forking in would be stuff to do with him.
Stuff to do with, yeah, convincing him. Yeah.
Okay, so then it would be like noble wise, husband wise, manipulation wise, etc.
Yep. So you've got how much for persuade?
I have a B6.
Okay, so you got 6. So that's noble wise, husband wise, manipulation wise.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm using anything unless I can do estate wise, because
not on this test, right? Because it's not about your estate. It's about like really, it's about changing his mind.
Okay, then I will just try with my 3 modifiers and see how it goes. Do I have?
Ooh, we got 5, and you rolled 2
6s. Doing it, spending fate.
Okay.
Worth.
So if you get it, he'll give you a chance to talk to them first. Ooh,
I don't.
Nope.
God damn it. Okay, that was close, but no cigar.
Yeah. He stands up and he says to you, like, as you're protesting, like, wait, like, don't do this. This is crazy. He stands up and he says to you, see now how a Carpathian king deals with revolt. And he turns to one of his aides and says, bring me Captain Chaika. And the aide is like, yes, your majesty, and like runs off, like runs at full tilt. And when everyone sees the king like stand, that people start to pay attention to that. Meanwhile, outside, Joy.
So what's the consequence of my failed conspicuous roll?
So
Adam?
they see you, and someone in the crowd shouts, "Look up there!" And another one is like, "Who's that?" And someone else is like, That's the jester. The king sends a clown to truck with us." And then there's like shouting, and they're like, "They're not taking us serious." And they get mad. And you can see a couple of people in the crowd like riling them up to be like, "How dare he? Like the king spits on our concerns. He wants us to die, right? We're like, we need a new and like people are just like spouting angry rhetoric." And that's when the first group, like, they start to press against the doors. We see the nobles inside who are like up against the walls looking at the windows be like, ugh, and like back away. Some of them run. And yeah, they start like pounding on the door, which is barred and shut. But yeah, they're like trying to storm the house now because it's time to take the food that they know these filthy nobles have, because the nobles aren't starving.
Can I, like, the king's sending for somebody? Can I, like, I want to try and circles up Robillard.
Yeah. He's not a relationship for you, right? So you'd have to circle him
I have
because he's around. Yeah.
I just think that, like, that's like, okay, bad stuff. So yeah, let's see if I can get him into the situation.
Quick, magic the problem away.
Please pray it away. So meanwhile, though, Joy, I want to give you an opportunity to do something. So
totally,
Joy, as they start to like get riled up, you realize like, ooh, you're not gonna be able to get their attention. What do you want to do?
See, if I'd managed to be able to say anything to them, I had a great thing to say, but the problem is, listen to me now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I don't think I can do anything about this anymore. I was gonna try and do something about it, but I don't think I can anymore. So,
is this the part where you go running back to court and are like, "My lord, the peasants are revolting"?
Pretty much, yeah. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I think it's time to truck my way back to the king at this point.
Okay.
Or at least, the minister, be like, yeah, it's looking bad out there, basically.
I imagine the minister as being like standing by the king, arms folded, like, abandon this castle in my time of glory. I think not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like she's like, good, yes, let's put them to the sword. But yeah, so you turn around and like go back inside, and the nobles that are gathered are like looking at you nervously, like, did you fix it, Joey? Like, there's just a bunch of nobles around, and you hop down, you have their attention, they look at you like, well, what did you see? Like, they're too scared to even look outside.
And I look at them all, and I fold my arms in front of me, and I go, the really funny thing is, there's nothing in here that they could steal that'll last them more than a week.
And they kind of like look back and forth at each other, and one of them, he says, are they, what's going on?
I hope you like lots of people all in this house all at once, because that's what's about to happen.
Oh, God save us. And then like he faints, and like one of his servants like catches him, and then the nobles just all kind of scatter, like, oh God, we have to get out of here, because you've instilled in them that like they're gonna come in here and burn the place down, and like, yeah.
Was gonna tell them the nobles are just as starving as they are, but they wouldn't listen. So
yeah, and again, you're like, they wouldn't listen as the nobles scatter like cockroaches, and nobody's listening to you anymore.
And yeah, There was
The
a mention of
servant-
God- there was a mention of God helping us, so just assume the maniacal laughter.
So the servant that caught the guy like lowers him to the floor and looks at you and hears all the noise outside, and then takes the guy's purse and looks at you like, "Don't tell anybody," and then runs off. Like, well, we're screwed, so I'm gonna try and slip out the back. So yeah, the servant takes the coin purse and runs off, leaving his unconscious noble lord lying on the floor. Okay, Alessandra, you want to try to conjure up? Joy, you're on your way back to the hall.
Yeah, I'm on
Okay,
my way back
so
to
Joy,
the
you'll
hall.
walk in at whatever is happening with Alessandra and Robillard. So let's see if Robillard is available to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the ob for the circles test?
I think it's just gonna be ob 2 probably, because right place, right time. It's
And
just to see if he's
I've
available
already
to talk
circled
to
him
you.
before.
Yeah.
So do I get a bonus die?
You get an extra die. Yep.
So it's ob 2.
Isn't it an increased ob for a specific person?
Yeah, that's the 2. Ob 1 is like anybody that knows you.
Gotcha.
I guess actually no. Ob 2 would be like a yeah. I think in this situation it's ob 2 because I want it to be easy, but there is still a chance. Like I think it's reasonable for that.
Okay.
You also have an affiliation and a reputation that you can maybe call on, right?
Yeah, but I also have a reputation that gives +1 ob because I'm impious.
Impious, yes. Okay, yeah. So it's ob 3, but you have
Okay.
your extra die from your.
So ob 3, but I have an affiliation with House Corvidae in the region, which I'll use because he is a Corvidae. So +2 mod. Ob 3 will just, I guess. Yeah, I did it.
Okay. Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. So I think he, like everyone else, is nearby watching. He's watching the king to see what the king is going to do, and you catch his eye.
Mm-hmm. And like do the whole like head motion, like come here, like come. I need to see you. But she's not like leaving the dice because did the king leave? No, he sent somebody, right?
Technically, yeah, the king. I think this is the thing. So instead of the king standing up and being about to address to give you room, he sends somebody. And when Captain Shaka gets here, he'll talk to him, and then we'll do the thing. But yeah, there's a moment where everyone is just like hearing the slightly louder noise outside, getting nervous. The king is sent for someone, so they're all kind of looking at him. And then you like lock eyes with Robillard, and Robillard gives you a look, and then looks briefly at the king because he can't approach the dais without the king's permission.
Right. In which case, I guess I would try and be inconspicuous and get up and go to talk to him because like I don't want to like be like, hey, can my uncle come up here? Like this is a very stressful situation.
Yeah, you don't have to make an inconspicuous test. Like,
Okay.
you can just walk away. Like the king is like, I am about to make things right.
otherwise
He's not paying attention to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then I would get
approach.
up and go to Robillard if like because it makes sense that he can't just like come up to the king and like whisper. I don't want like everyone to hear me because I feel like this is kind of undermining the king a little.
Yeah, Tabitha is standing nearby going, say what?
Can you not though?
She's not.
I
She's
punch
not.
her in the face.
Okay, cool.
Um
She only had 1 hit point.
So I go up to Robillard and I say, Uncle, things are unstable and I fear that they're about to get worse. I don't believe that violence against these people will predispose them toward and I'm like very much like you and me, our what's the word? Rule, I guess, or like I don't know what the word is here. Like predispose them towards like our support, I guess,
Okay.
toward supporting us. You were a bishop once. I'm sure that most of the time the people that you talked to were not quite as upset, but surely there is something you can do to calm these people and win them to your cause.
It is not my place, Alessandra, to speak to these angry folk in behalf of the king. We
On
must
behalf
respect
of
the appropriate behaviors.
not on behalf of the king, then. This is my house. They are at my door. They wish to, I don't know, raid my larder or whatever they're here for. I know that they are here because the king is here, but it is still my house. I will not have blood shed on its steps. Please, uncle.
And what would you have me do?
Persuade them that there is a way that we can do this that doesn't involve yelling and violence. Surely the angels you worship do not wish for these people to perish, or for the king's rule to be overthrown. Some kind of revolution or what have you.
The song sung by the choir of angels is at times a discordant one. There is an angel of death for a reason, Alessandra. But I am loath to see lives ended for no purpose. These people are hungry, misguided. A peaceful solution might be possible. And he looks at the king, and he looks back at you. But we must go through the correct procedures. And if it's not clear, he's like, yeah, I'll help. Tell the king that I can help. Let me talk to the king, and then you just shush, go over here for a minute.
And I think she picks up on that, right?
Yeah.
And kind of looks down and is like, he would not listen to me. Very well. And then she'll go back up to the I think that, is she gonna make this a public thing?
It doesn't have to be. You have time, right? Because the king, once the captain shows up, as soon as Captain Chayka arrives, everyone's gonna see that green cloak and be like, oh yeah, it's time to teach these peasants a lesson. Because remember, Carpathians are violent, so all of the Carpathian nobility are gonna be like, fuck yes.
But they're also pious.
Yes, exactly. So but there is time to save face for the king, because if you can get Robillard to talk to him before Chayka shows up, then the king can be like, we're going to do it this way. We're going to go and speak to them. But Robillard has to convince the king of that.
Okay, well then I would go back to my seat, and I think the king was like, nah, I'm doing this thing.
He specifically was like, honey, you're a foreigner. I don't know how they do it in Fancy Pants Town, but around here, sometimes you got to go for the sword. Let me show you.
I feel like she wants to get his attention again.
That's easy enough, right? He's not in the middle of anything. He's just kind of brooding and staring at the crowd, and you can see him thinking about how can I make this go? What am I going to tell the captain, and how are we going to organize this?
So she would be planning. Like, my king.
And he turns.
You are right. I am not a Carpathian, but I have lived here the majority of my life. I know that these people are angry, but perhaps violence is not the only solution. My uncle was a bishop in the church. He is here, has been here. Perhaps these people would listen to him.
And Robillard is standing nearby doing that thing where he's not he's real good at this.
Definitely not looking at you.
Definitely not waiting. He's not I'm waiting here for someone to call on me, but he's making it clear he's standing apart and kind of looking like he's deep in thought, right? And this would be where he'd be looking at his phone intently, but not actually doing anything. Right? My uncle.
And there's definitely a motion hey, he's here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he looks and he says, I recognize the man, a member of the conclave.
Yes.
What of it?
I know that you are king, and these people are your people. But I dearly wish you not shed their blood on my doorstep. Can we at least see if there is another way? Robillard is wise. He would be a good man to perhaps advise you in this.
Okay, let's see if you can convince him.
God damn, freaking.
I think you can have advantage because you are playing one trait against another, right? He's pious and violent.
Mm-hmm.
And there is buried somewhere in God's creed, like a "thou shalt not kill," except in all of these reasons.
Yeah.
But you're
Except
playing
for
on the
all of
like,
these
yeah.
reasons.
And I mean, it's tricky because there's a lot of deep-seated, like, doing violent things is a way of showing that I'm a successful, tough dude, and he hasn't had an opportunity to do that. So this is very delicate. Also, what's going to be great is when you succeed at this, Robillard walks up and is like, "Yeah, you should kill them all."
God damn it.
But Robillard is actually more like you than like the king, and he's not violent.
Okay, so this is a manipulation.
Yes, you are absolutely manipulating him.
Can it be soothing platitudes?
Yes, because you were trying to soothe him into a more peaceful approach.
Okay. Noble wise, husband wise.
Yeah, he's a noble and he's a husband. Do you have any like religious skills?
Doctrine.
Okay, so yeah, the fact that you're playing on like, yo, maybe we should let God sort it out.
Are you giving me one extra addition for like using his trait?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have an advantage die here because he's used to taking the advice of older men who are religious figures.
And he's got a will of 6.
He does have a will of 6, yes.
Okay. Mother of God.
Oh, none of those are 6s. Fuck.
I hate everything.
This is a great place. So Joy, you'll be walking in on this. You hear the sound of the knight captain Andreas Cheka's chain armor. We see the boots on the stone, the green cloak, and I think that he looks at you, Alessandra, and he looks at the old man, right? And he says, he puts his hand on your hand, like your hand is on the chair or something. He puts his hand on your hand. He looks like earnestly at you, and he says, "This is no time for a weak will. These people's God is dead. The only God they know now is blood." And he turns, and the captain walks in, and the captain is like he's like of an age, maybe a little younger than the king. We haven't seen Captain Cheka before. He has the armor and the like mantle and cloak thing of the guard, and he's ready. This is his jam. He walks in and he knows why he's been called. He knows what's going on. He's probably got men ready already. And when he walks in, the audience, the group that watches, some people get relieved. Some people are like, "Oh, thank God the cops are here." Other people are like, "Oh boy, this means it's real. They're not just going to go away before this gets bad. And we're all trapped in here." And the king and the captain look at each other, and the king turns to address the crowd. Now, Joy, you are witness to all of this. You'll have an opportunity to jump in. But before things get bloody in House Corvidae, let's take our first short break here, and when we get back, I want to do a scene with Agatha, at least, maybe Lodwick as well, and then we'll see what goes on with the chaos. So stick around. We will be back with drama and bloodshed when we return.